Like, they're suing me for something I didn't do. Like, on God, it's just the most bull thing. And I literally had to pay them.
This is where the internet rumors really start getting loud. People online are now claiming the World Boxing Council could even look into Jake Paul based on whispers that the Paul versus Joshua fight was meant to be scripted. To be clear, there's no proof. This is still rumor territory, but the speed at which it's spreading has people paying attention. Fans are pointing to small moments during the fight, especially that tongue-out gesture Jake has used before. Some believe it was a subtle signal, almost like a quiet "we're still on track." The problem this time was simple. Anthony Joshua didn't play along. No slowing down, no waiting, no signals back, just straight boxing. If there was ever a plan, AJ completely ignored it and fought.
I woke up and told my wife, why did I do that? I don't know. I just don't know what the hell goes on. I remember one thing, I had a very hard moment in that part of my life, but I assure you in that age, I could have put that clown in the
fought on his own terms. That's why so many people keep comparing this to Paul versus Mike Tyson. A lot of fans felt that fight had a planned feel to it, especially after what some claimed was a leaked full script circulating online. Whether any of that is real or not, the optics matter. Because if boxing officials even suspect a fight was arranged, that alone becomes a serious issue. Here's the wild part. If this fight was meant to follow a script, Joshua ruining it explains why everything unraveled. One fighter tried to perform, the other just fought, and suddenly the conversation wasn't about scorecards anymore. It became about whether boxing almost crossed into television drama and got pulled back by reality.
Obviously scripted, isn't it? I'm like, no. One, that's illegal. I mean, this is a professional contest. Two, we would never sign up to anything that's going to make AJ look bad or devalue him, lose rounds, go loads of rounds.
Do you think there's any world in which AJ pulls back, though?
No, absolutely. He couldn't do that as a fighter. He would be incapable of going in there.
Right after all the scripted fight noise, tongue signal theories, and Netflix season talk, Chael Sonnen jumps in and flips the entire conversation. Chael isn't interested in contracts or conspiracies. He's talking about survival. Listening to him, it finally clicks. Forget scripts. Forget betting lines. Forget Twitter detectives. What we watched was Jake Paul realizing in real time that boxing at this level isn't controlled by vibes. This wasn't choreography. This was panic management. These men fought. Jake wasn't acting. He was calculating distance, escaping danger, stepping in just long enough to score, then sprinting back out like the rent was due. And Chael's point lands hard. Anyone calling this fake has never been chased by consequences. You don't clinch, grab, drop levels, and wrestle gravity because it's part of a show. You do it because Anthony Joshua can shut your lights off at any second. Chael also admits it's uncomfortable watching AJ not rush.
Square until people online started claiming that Jake Paul's fight was fixed. They started saying there was a secret backdoor agreement that Anthony Joshua would be able to beat Jake Paul in the 6th round, and that's when Jake Paul's lawyers started to get involved. Jake Paul's promoter, Nakisa Badarian, says these claims are completely false about Jake Paul's fight being fixed. He also said that their attorneys are now actively going after people that are saying that the fight was fixed. He said fixing a professional boxing match is a federal crime, and this did not happen at all. He claims that Anthony Joshua went on record before the fight saying that anything less than a knockout to him would be considered failure. People still say that Anthony Joshua waited until the 6th round to make Jake Paul look better, the fact that he didn't lose in the 1st round like a lot of people thought he would. And now there's a chance that people start to get sued for saying that this fight was fake. But after you leave with a broken jaw, I think it's very hard to say that this fight was.
But that's veteran confidence. Joshua trusted time and let reality do the work. That's experience, not confusion. When Chael says Jake was fighting for his life, it doesn't sound dramatic, it sounds accurate. No heroic music, no slow motion montage, just a man trying to survive against someone bigger, stronger, and far more seasoned. You can debate skill all day, but fear can't be faked. Exhaustion can't be staged. And instinct doesn't lie. Chael wraps it perfectly. Maybe it wasn't elite boxing, but if you think that wasn't real, you've never been in a fight. Right after Chael breaks it down, Adam Booth steps in with calm, surgical honesty. This is the grown-up take. He's not hyping Jake. He's not protecting AJ. He's just calling what happened. A former Disney kid willingly stepped into deep water and learned real lessons in real time. And when Booth points out that Jake made Anthony Joshua miss, that's not clickbait praise. That's technical respect. Making a two-time heavyweight.
As long as you can.
So the bottom line is you take nothing from this. It was an entertainment product designed to get Netflix
But last week you said it wasn't scripted.
I think that ultimately Anthony Joshua's approach to it was what I said at the beginning. What I said was,
now you're telling us Netflix passed on a message.
I'm saying that Netflix's modus operandi is to operate with this kind of principle, which is stretch the entertainment. Anthony Joshua goes in. I've framed the question to these boys that have been in the ring. Could he go in there and arouse
Yes, Jake was moving a lot, but Booth explains it perfectly. In a big ring against a bigger man, you either sprint and look awkward or stay still and get shut down. Jake chose motion. I chose patience. Gravity chose the ending. Booth also reminds everyone that the punch that broke Jake's jaw has put real heavyweights to sleep. Yet Jake stayed conscious, smiled, and spat blood like he unlocked a new achievement. That's not acting. That's a rare kind of bravery. Booth doesn't say this makes Jake elite, but he makes one thing clear. This wasn't smoke and mirrors.
Not a boxing match. It just wasn't. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there, and he was moving as such. He was staying away from him. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this athletic competition, and then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again. I mean, he was fighting. Then it turns to where he can't stay away anymore. So now he's got to go the other way. He's got to go forward. So now he's clinched him. Now he's dropping down to his knees. He's going below the waist. These guys were fight. Jake was fighting for his survival, and you could so see it. You could see this animal who's been caged and is just trying to make it through. Not even kill its prey. Just make it through. And it was incredible. It was really incredible. So on the back end, some of the comments that I made or that I had heard were so confusing to me. It was a very good competition. I will tell you, it breaks my heart too that Anthony Joshua...
This was a novice testing himself far beyond his depth and lasting longer than expected. And when Booth casually adds that Tyson Fury probably watched this thinking, if Jay can make a miss, I'm not worried. That might be the coldest takeaway of all. No conspiracies, just boxing logic. After Booth shuts down the myths, Frank Smith comes in swinging directly at the critics. This is where the noise gets cut off. Smith makes it clear this wasn't Joshua struggling. This was Joshua working. There's a difference. AJ wasn't chasing the fastest knockout of the year. He was running drills he's trained for months, treating Jake like a live, unpredictable problem, not a meme. And people forget this part. Jake wasn't standing still. He was moving.
From the 6 rounds that we saw, presuming you watched?
I was impressed with Jake Paul. I thought that, following on from what we're saying, right? A few years ago, he was on Disney as a kid, acting up, and has decided to become a professional fighter. That takes balls, he's obviously striving to be as good as he can be. You can see that in the way that he moves, the way that he is developed in how he's punching and performing. But to make a 2-time world heavyweight champion that's still live, AJ's still got something about him, to make him miss in such an accomplished manner. All right, so at times he was jumping out and running around, but there were times when he was well in range and still making AJ unable to land a clean, solid.
Dropping levels, grabbing legs, breaking rhythm, turning the ring into an obstacle course at 4 a.m. You don't judge a heavyweight ceiling when the other fighter refuses to fight like a heavyweight. AJ stayed calm, stayed professional, stayed patient, and eventually stayed correct.
It's a brutal game we're in, and I think what you saw with AJ, the truth is it wasn't a proper fight, if that makes sense. Jake Paul was running around, laid on the jumped on his knees a few times. I think it was 12 takedown attempts or something. So it wasn't, you can't compare it to a proper fight. Yeah. But AJ went in there with the mentality of a proper fight, which probably didn't align with what it was. AJ's obviously been in camp with Usyk's team, and You saw him. It wasn't like he went in there with the fact of, I'm going in there against a guy who doesn't know what he's doing. He just put everything into practice that he'd been learning over the last 14, 16, 18 weeks.
Correct. Now I want to hear from you. Was this a lesson learned? A warning ignored? Or just another chapter in boxing's complicated relationship with entertainment? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Debate it. Break it down. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Bloodline Boxing. Boxing love.